Outlet Liquor is your place to buy a case. Stock up and save when you shop the lowest prices available every day at Outlet Liquor. You never have to wait for a sale. The more you buy, the more you save. Only at Outlet Liquor.
What's your outlet?
Welcome, everybody, to episode 90 of Two Goalies, One Mic. Joined here by host of the Cam and Strick podcast, along with Andy Strickland, former NHL vet with the alumni, with the St. Louis Blues and the New Jersey Devils. An absolute fucking electric factory. We have on with us Cam Janssen. Cam, how the fuck are you doing, bud? Oh, you're still muted. Hold on. That's my fault. He was still muted.
It's probably for the best that I'm muted. No, I think Andy probably hosts that show. But what's going on, guys, man? What's going on?
Yeah. Of course, we're joined also by Kyle Quick. We've had him on previously. Kyle, I know your day isn't off to a great start, but thanks for hopping on with us.
It's my birthday too, and we just got pumped.
It's your birthday? Holy shit! A couple clicks, buddy.
Yeah.
It's a tough day. It's a tough day today.
But
it was a game you shouldn't lose. Not a good day.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, and then obviously intern Carson with the show. Thanks for hopping on with us, buddy. Really appreciate you helping fill in for Cully. So we still have the two goalies thing going on, but unfortunately not Cully, as he's got daughter duty today.
Got big shoes to fill.
Yeah, big shoes to fill. But again, Cam, thanks for hopping on with us. Appreciate you taking the time. You mentioned before we went live that it's a beautiful day out there in St. Louis. Outside in Buffalo here, last weekend, you could have rollerbladed outside. It was so nice. Now it's an absolute snowstorm. So
yeah, funny how that is, man. No, we've been getting crap on for it's been pretty hardcore here in St. Louis. Like it could be 70 degrees one day, and then it gets a sleet storm. So today and the next week, it's finally going to get nice. So people are out and about doing their stuff, but I'm chilling, man. It's all good. A lot of hockey going on today, by the way, which is quite nice.
Yeah, we got the Heritage Classic here at 4:00, obviously on the heels of the Sabres beating the Golden Knights in the infamous Jack Eichel return, which we'll get into a little bit later. But yeah, definitely a good slate for hockey on a Sunday. And we're going to get right into it too with the St. Louis Blues and the season that they're having, Cam. Last time we had you on, we talked a lot about them winning the Stanley Cup, the significance of Ryan O'Reilly in that lineup, and then of course just the Stanley Cup parade, where honestly we got a lot of positive reviews from that episode with how animated and how unhinged almost you were talking about the parade. So I expect nothing less than that from you today.
That was a special event. Like, the guys have kind of been through a difficult past couple years after that whole huge celebration. So that was unique in its own self. It's hard to replicate that because of how fun and exciting it was for the city. And again, I don't look at it like as a fan, more like a business too, by the way. So like, I know this town and I know a bunch of guys and girls and everyone that own companies. And, when you're from here and, you've lived here your whole life. And of course I've gone to Jersey and Nottingham and whatnot, but I've always been here. So you just know how people benefited from the Blues being successful on a business level. And so and then they kind of need that. So in that sense, it amplifies everything throughout the celebration, man, because, people the businesses are packed and everybody's kind of happy.
Yeah. We always talk about, especially with how good the Bills are right now. Obviously kind of like an upsetting end of the season where the 13 seconds, the final 13 seconds of that game was really a talk about mismanagement. I think on the level of The mismanagement, if you really want to try and compare the two, the mismanagement of the Buffalo Sabres over the last 10 years is probably equates to the mismanagement of those last 13 seconds of that AFC Championship game.
Man.
But
you always support it. Like, you listen. I was talking about this on my show the other day, though. Like, people were like, "Oh, Buffalo must be tough to play there." I'm like, "No, it's not, man. Like, it's an awesome city, and if you are good, that fan base will be crazy. They reminds me of St. Louis fan base. Like, they're crazy. Now, Buffalo has its own craziness where you're jumping off. I get all that, and I love it, especially the Bills. They do. As a broadcaster, as a guy that does radio every day, it's fun to talk about that kind of stuff. Just how much the fans are into it and how much they will support their team no matter what. And so, like, if you guys have a good team like the 90s, your lead up, by the way, in your intro, listen to Rick Jaronat, whatever his name is, who's unbelievable. And, he was so good. I always appreciated guys that were into the fights, Some announcer would be like, "Oh, they're fighting now," but he would be so crazy, and it just amplified the fight so much to where even if you lost, you felt like you won because he was so into it.
Yeah. Now, Quickie, I know obviously you're pretty in touch with the local hockey scene here. You've played a pretty live level hockey. You mentioned beforehand that you were pretty familiar with playing in the St. Louis area. Before we get right into the Blues, you just want to kind of familiarize everybody with that.
Yeah, no. So I played in the North American League for Jeff Brown and the St. Louis Bandits. And that year, I think Brownie's a really competitive guy, really competitive, animated. So is Chaser. But I think we lost 9 games all year. It was a different. We were in Chesterfield. We were actually at the Hardy's Ice Blacks at that point. It was a good place to play, really nice, clean city, a lot of things to do around there. It was a fun time. I was 17 at the time, so I was one of the young guys on the team. Like we had 21-year-olds. It was fun. But again, just the city itself, like everyone, Cam's saying here, it's a really nice city. It's very comparable to Buffalo. You could drive downtown, St. Louis obviously a little bigger, but same feeling. Once the teams are going, it's a lot of support. It's just a good feel, between Buffalo and St. Louis. Similar fan bases, similar mentality. You get there. It's a good time, definitely.
Brownie yell at you a couple times.
More at the refs. He likes yelling at the refs. The refs.
Shit he does.
Yeah.
The dumb D. He calls you guys the dumb D. He always says.
Yeah.
No, but he'll build you back up though, man. There's a lot of knowledge, and it worked, didn't it? Like
he was the best. He was the best coach I ever had.
Yep.
Like from his style of play when he played, I was a very similar offensive defenseman.
Yeah, man.
And his knowledge was unbelievable.
He was the best sauce. I'm telling you, ask Brett Hall. Yeah. Brownie was the best at sauce passing on a power play. He'd come across. He could rip you the puck over everybody's stick and land perfectly where Hawley could get that shot off.
His hammer.
He was off. Yeah.
He was unbelievable. Yeah. He got going in practice in those mini games. He jumped in. He was awesome though. They were great people. But animated.
We all skate together in Alumni, man. We have a badass. You should see the rink we have now, dude.
No, we won nationals last year.
You see it?
19. Yeah, it's really nice. Nice alumni room.
You see that mug?
So
packed with booze.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
So Jeff Boston, there's a guy moving to Buffalo. Jeff Boston. He's moving to Buffalo. I'm close with Jeff, and he was down with Brownie and Chaser in the alumni room till like 4:30 the night before he was moving in St. Louis. He's having a good time there.
Yeah, man. Well, shit. They built that thing because the Blues are good. We have a bunch of kids that make it. Hockey in St. Louis is gigantic. Everybody play hockey's like the cool thing to do. 100%. And we kind of, it just all kind of came together, and they needed a big ass rink, and there you have it. So one of the nicest in the United States.
Really nice.
Yep.
Yeah, really nice. Yeah.
Now, just trying to get into like kind of the St. Louis Blues here. Obviously, us being from Buffalo, we're not really in touch with what's going on in St. Louis. I follow as much as I can, just as I'm sure you try and follow around the rest of the league too, Cam. Maybe not so much Buffalo because outside of what happened,
no, there's drama there. We follow drama.
Yeah, drama. Yeah, we all know the drama. But before that night, I mean, really, was there much to talk about with what's going on in Buffalo? But the Blues sit second in the Central at 75 points. Avs obviously kind of been dominating that division with 87 points. Wild just 3 points back. Benner, he was a big talking point last time we had you on. Obviously, he's struggling this year, 13-12, 308 goals against and a 904 save. And it's kind of like almost the same storyline when he first kind of took the reins in St. Louis, right? Like, this is why I've always been against paying goalies big money, because you can always find one. They want, always can find one. Not saying that Benner is never going to get back to where he was, but Billy Husso, 15-4, 224 save and 915 save. And I mean, even last year he played pretty well, going 9-6. So, kind of give us, your perspective on that. What's been going on in net in St. Louis? And then obviously one of the bigger storylines was Vlad, being upset coming into the year with his situation.
Well, I'll start with the goalies. Ville Husso, you got to understand, was, he got injured at the wrong time in 2019, although it probably worked out the best for the Blues. But he was slotted ahead of Benner. He's a good goalie. But he just, goalies are weird because it's hard. There's only two of them. Like, you can't, sometimes you get kind of like, forgotten, even if you're really good in the minors, because it's so scrambly in front of you. Like, the travel's weird. Like, it's hard to find your groove. So your numbers can be skewed for how really good you are. And maybe you get injured at the wrong time. So it's like tough being a goalie to even like make the NHL, because of course you only have two slots. So there's a lot of really good goalies that just kind of push aside and they just, fall off the face of the earth. But Ville's coming in, he's doing his thing, and people are complaining like, oh, the Blues have a goalie problem. Well, a goalie problem is when you have two bad goalies. And Ville Husso is playing really well. And not saying that Benner's bad, but he's not playing great. Now, do I have faith in Benner? Damn right. Because you'll never, I don't care how good you are throughout no one could replicate what Benner went through. He took everything on him, like, okay, I'm going to do this. And he went through that and dominated, and all of a sudden goes into Stanley Cup final or Stanley Cup playoffs with all this pressure, and he figured it out. So he did it. So maybe he's bad now, but I feel like you can still get that out of him. But you know what? Ville Husso goes in there and he's playing unbelievable. And you could always tell he's good. Goalies are good because, not that I'm going to break down goalies. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I'm not a goalie expert. But I watch enough hockey and but he doesn't get out of position. Like, he's just there and he's able to get side to side. And some of these saves he's making, where there's like 3 games in a row where I'm like, oh, that's a save of the year. Oh, that's a save of the year. Oh, that's a save of the year. Where he just finds a way to kick his leg out. And he's so skinny where he looks like, what's he look like? Jack off of that Nightmare on Nightmare Before Christmas, where he has those little skinny ass legs, and he's like, whatever.
I can see that.
Weird analogy. Sorry, it just popped in my head.
No, I can see it.
You know what I mean? He's just able to sprawl out and make these badass saves. Like, he's good. So, right now you're going to play him, and leading up to the playoffs and the grind here, like, you're going to play the best goalie. They need the points. They want to play a Nashville instead of playing a Colorado first round, of course. But yeah, they're okay in this situation, and I think a lot of people, including Coach Craig Berube, is still confident with Jordan Binnington because of what he's done. And when he's on, he's on. And right now, Husso's playing better, so you got to go with him. And the Vladdy situation, dude, that's long gone. Like, look, over the summer, like Vladdy, like his agent was involved. Like, he wasn't getting playing time last year. He's been through hell and back with surgeries. I think his agent got the best of him as far as being loud and, the medical stuff and whatnot. But listen, I said this at the beginning of the year, like, in the end of the day, man, he's going to walk in there and be like, dude, my bad. All that drama, my bad. Let's just play. And everybody's going to be like, okay, cool. And they did that. And now he's doing his thing. He's playing unbelievable. One of his best years since he was, young. And he's taking games over. And there's no drama. And they one of the best offenses in the league, man. They roll 4 lines. They're finding their 4th line now, and Vladdy's just doing his shit.
Yeah. And then touching on that Tarasenko thing, 2 other players have kind of had a breakout season this year in Jordan Kyrou and Robert Thomas. They've always kind of been in the NHL and not really struggled, but this year they've really found their footing in the NHL. Like, what's kind of been behind that?
Well, they have the puck the whole game. Yeah. They have the puck the whole game, and they're just like, they're finding each other. Jordan Kyrou is so good at, like, he'll take 3 strides and like, what are you gonna do? And he's able to cross over so well, where he just fakes like he's going one way and just steers across and then pulls it back. So he's always got a shot off. He's so damn dynamic, and now they're getting comfortable. And I think Robert Thomas put some muscle on, so he's able to spin off of guys a little bit more. Where he's always wanting to pass. Now he's like, you know what? I'm gonna go bar down. Now he's like, fuck all y'all. I'm going to shoot pucks. Now I'm even scarier because you think I'm going to pass over and go through 3 guys, which I could do. But no, I'm just going to go bar down on you. I'll fight. I see that glove's like hanging there. I'm gonna test you, goalie. Now he's getting that confidence. So they are scary, man. They are. The Blues are loaded. They are. They're loaded.
Again, at every level, when you can go, when you just talked about finding their fourth line, when you can find those 4 lines and roll, I mean, you just become just a dynamic team, and you can do more. And again, that's obviously when you get to the playoff time, that's what's going to kick in and be an effective, role in their run. We talk about goaltending, we talk about 4 lines rolling, talk about just consistency, and that's what you're looking for, especially at every level, and again,
they went through they've had 10 different lines, I believe, this year on the 4th line. Yeah. Now Sonny's been hurt, shit's been going down, like there's a couple of injuries. Dakota Joshua had a good chance to really solidify himself, and he's a good kid and he played some good games, but fucking Berube's like, you're not playing physical enough. Yeah. You're not in there, you're not loud. You're not hitting guys. Like, man, some of these 4th lines, some of these guys are that who's that kid from Nashville? Tanner Jeannot, who's just murders guys, scores goals in your face, like fucking challenges guys every shift. He's looking around like, fuck all you. What? He drives people crazy. And people are like, I'm not fighting that fucking guy. But he plays and he penalty kills and he has the most hits in the league. And you're like, what do I do about him? Yeah. So it's like you need to have a motherfucker or a couple of them, and they kind of gone through different variations, a lot of different variations for the 4th line, and you need to solidify that. And people are like, oh, well, don't worry about your 4th. No, I'm telling you, no Stanley Cup winners not have a 4th line that's like something. It's just the way it is, man. That's how you solidify your team. So anyway, they're going through different players, the Blues are, and they found a couple new guys, not new guys, but guys that they had, and they sent down McKenzie McEachern. Now they get this Torobchenko kid who's about 6'3", who could fly, and he's like, you know what, I'm going to play a little pissy, and now he's hitting guys, and Craig Berube's like, yep, you're playing, so they kept him, and now you got, of course, a Logan Brown coming up, and he played a hell of a game the other night, so he's going to be bounced around in the 3rd and 4th line, so they're starting to figure that out.
Yeah, when you mentioned, what's his face from, from Nashville, one of the names that popped into my mind was Kolasar from the Golden Knights, a kid that, we hate him right now because he sucker punched Casey Fitzgerald right after a fight. I don't know if you saw that. Yeah. But that's one thing. What is the code is still a thing, right? And some people say the code isn't a thing, but you just don't do that. You don't do that.
What did he do again? Because
him and Fitzgerald were fighting. Kolasar was responding to a hit, a clean hit in my opinion, at center ice, and then Kolasar responds. They dropped Casey. This is like his 3rd fight of the season, which nobody really expected that of him coming in as a rookie. But he obliged. They fought. It was pretty quick, and then while they're both on the ice, refs are separating them. Kolasar comes off with 2 crosses right to his face. One connecting, and
that's Gollison.
Yeah. I love Kolasar. I love the way he plays. Everything you said about or said just now before that makes me think of a guy like him. He's a motherfucker. You don't want to play against him. He's tough to play against. But outside of that one instance, that's the type of guy I think, and I think Buffalo really lacks.
Buffalo needs those.
You need that. You need a guy, and even sometimes if that happens, you're like, yeah, okay, my bad, I screwed up. You don't have to listen. That extra stupid shit that Marchand does it, and look, he's going to score on you too. Marchand's unbelievable. Now he can not do as much shit, and he'll still be unbelievable. But if you're a 4th line guy, you don't need to. If I'm a GM or a coach of an organization, I want that guy to not have to do the punchy punch things afterwards to get this. I want you to do enough throughout the play to where you're scary and mean and maybe a little unpredictable throughout the play, where you're not extra whacking a guy. Just you might catch a guy weird with a hit. I'd rather you do that crazy shit than I'm going to cross-check you the second time, or I might slash you because I'm crazy. No, you're stupid. Yeah. I want you to I would want a guy that's more in control, that's just mean, it's so intimidating, but it's hard to find. But there's guys like that. They just kind of put it together and hold it together because it's tough to play on that fine line, man. It's hard not to cross it, and do something stupid.
talking about that, like obviously the Sabres, we haven't had that type of guy here. A guy I played with in college, Garnet Hathaway on Washington.
Yeah.
Really tough.
Yeah.
Like goes hard, plays between the whistle, pisses people off. Like you need that in your lineup. You need some salt and pepper in your lineup to get, things going, to piss people off, and some piss and vinegar to piss people off.
Yeah, it hurt. Man, I hate playing against guys like that.
Man,
I hate playing against guys like that. Even when we're skating with the Alumni with a guy, I'm like, God damn it! Like it just pisses you off. I'm telling you, you can't explain it unless you've been there. Yeah. Those guys drive you nuts, and you're like, "Fuck you!" And now you're whacking them. Yeah, and you're getting a penalty. For 2 periods.
I deal with that every fucking weekend, man. We need to talk about like your alumni games. Like I play a lot of beer league still, and I'm all washed up. I don't play. I think I play an okay level, not like probably Quickie playing over in the Premier at the Harbor Center.
First place, no big deal.
No big deal. But and got Carson over here still playing college. But you deal with that stupid shit like every single Saturday and Sunday night. People just won't put the yearbook away.
Yeah,
makes you not want to play men's league. That's the biggest thing. You just don't want to play with that.
I know. Yeah. Well, look, if a guy tries hard, I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
The guys in men's league that piss me off are the guys that hook you.
Yeah.
Because if you hook a guy, you're lazy. Like, don't hook me unless you have 700 games in the NHL, like Larry Kennedy or fucking Brownie. Yeah. If Jeff Brown hooks me, I'm like, God damn it, Brownie. But you can. But some dipshit hooks me. That means you're fucking lazy.
Yeah.
Don't put your stick in your stick in my legs when I'm going in the corner either, so you trip me. Don't do that.
Yeah.
And don't shoot a fucking slap shot when the puck's rolling when you're standing in front of the net with your point. You're a fucking idiot.
We were blowing out a team 2 weeks ago. It was like 7-2, like with 10 seconds left in the third. And my best friend's little brother's on the team. He's like 19 years old, and he doesn't really know the 一and outs of men's league yet. He's just coming off of playing real competitive hockey. There's honest to God 5 seconds left. Dilly Klodzinski, I'll give him a little of a pump here, but he just winds up from the top of the face.
You're a fucking idiot.
Like, mind you, we had just scored the previous faceoff. We had just scored like 10 seconds earlier, and the goalie at the start of that face-off didn't even have his helmet on anymore. He was ready to get done until it just came off the wing.
Don't take slap shots when people are
my God. I had to tell him after, like, listen, buddy, I love you, but I'm not going to protect you when you do something like that. Like
I don't like guys, man. Like, you got to know what your stick is at all times. You can't fucking high stick a guy in men's league and cut them open for fucking 16 in their face when they got to go sell business the next day because you don't know where your stick is. You're a dumbass. You're a jackass. That's why we're so like protect. Like none of the alumni want to skate with dipshits. We bring in our own guys that skate with us that know what we don't get cut open for 15 again when most of these guys are working. They got to do their shit. They're like, we don't want to deal with that. And
to your point on that, McKee used to run the skate here in the summers.
Jay?
And there was a guy out there who was, it was that that August time when guys are coming back in town, but just getting in shape, that type of skate. And there's a guy out there being a hero, and he hits Conley from behind.
Oh,
Peters took the guy and literally took him by the back and just literally skated him off the ice and threw him off.
Get out.
I gotta ask Petey about this.
Holy,
get out of here! You just don't do that, man. That's why you don't. And whatever, like we sound like princesses, but I don't give a fuck. I am a princess now. I don't want to get caught with a weirdo out there that trips me up, and I blow my AC joint out, and I have to pay for it now because fuck that. So like hockey, you can still get hurt big time, man. Even in little pickup leagues, and that when you get hurt, it costs you money.
Yeah, dude.
Like right. Like maybe I'll get hooked up because I know doctors here because I'm privileged and I work for that, and that's fine. In St. Louis, I played here. Like I get hooked up. Yeah. So if I get my shit, I probably get hooked up here and there. But most people can't. So if somebody high sticks you, you lose your fucking teeth. You can't go work the next day. You can't do that, but you still love the game. So there's weird, you can't play with dipshits, man.
Yeah.
There people that are not. I'd rather play with people that don't know how to give me a puck. And you can chirp them for that, than guys that are wild with their stick and stupid about hitting you from behind and stuff. Yeah. And that is a thing in our skates, especially in Canada. Those guys are crazy up there. Yeah. Dude, we had Ryan Smith on, Mr. Canada on our pod. Remember he got rocked in that league by that dude, like those guys will hit you up there.
Oh, they
like,
will
body check you and hit you.
Like legit. They play like full hockey. It's crazy.
I'm telling you, I get asked to do all kinds of shit.
Yeah.
I get asked to go to these tournaments up there, and they'll pay me money and all this stuff. I go, no motherfucking way.
No, because
you'd have to pay me a shit ton of money.
Yeah, some dipshit's gonna show up, drink, and then you never know.
And then beat my ass, maybe. What if he's really fucking tough? Like,
I don't know about that.
Or hit me or knock me out where I have a concussion now, where my head's okay. I feel like I could perform every day on radio, whatever. I could feel okay. But then this dipshit rocks me, and I'm like, I see black for fucking 6 months. I'm not doing it.
I remember we had a kid I used to coach, Christian Wickham, filling in for our men's league team once, just before we transitioned to the next subject. He came in, filled us for a night, and there was literally 10 seconds left in the game. We were losing, and he was just going for a loose puck, and his kid, just like you said, not being aware of his stick rode up his shaft, flipped him in the mouth. He lost 3 teeth, had to have his mouth, stapled shut for like a few weeks, something like that. Had to have surgery. Luckily, his mom is like, a dental surgeon or orthodontic surgeon, so like he was taken care of. But the same thing, man. Like and he was playing in the SPHL at the time. Like he was playing at like some higher level hockey, and just coming in to do me a favor and just gets his mouth clipped pretty bad.
Not worth it.
Not worth it at all. Now, the trade deadline's 8 days away. Cam, do you see the Blues being active?
Fuck yeah. But like, listen, Doug Armstrong, dude, he's the best of the best. I mean, right now he's up there. He knows how to find ways to get things done. Now, what do I think is going to happen? I have no idea. You just don't know. But I would say they'd like a left-handed defenseman that could like log some minutes and kind of have some oomph back there. That you can never have too many big defensemen that could, you get guys out in front of the net, penalty kill, box shots, this, that, and the other. When the dog days come, when you can get away with a lot of shit when playoffs come. So I think he's kind of looking for that. We do have prospects that are really good that we'd like to see what's going on. I say we, the Blues, like shit. That's not me, but I just say that.
You're still with the organization. Fuck it.
Yeah, but whatever. I talk about them more than anybody does, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Fine, I say we. But the point is, like, I think his phone is always going to be open. He's calling everybody. He's very respected. How the salary cap's going to play into things, I don't know, but we always think that way, and he finds ways to get things done. So I would say a defenseman would be the talking point here in St. Louis, a big boy. But where are they? Who, what, where? Where are they at? And Chikrin just got banged up from Arizona. He was always on the list. So there's other guys out there. We'll see what happens, but the one guy you always think they're going to get is the other guy you don't think about.
Yeah, that's another thing too. Is we're Buffalo's kind of we're supposed to be sellers, but I think Kevin Adams, knowing that you have Owen Power just almost but here as soon as his college season with Michigan is over. By the way, a couple clicks for Michigan, they beat.
How's he doing, by the way, that Power kid, man? Because
dude, he's the real deal.
Is he dominating down there?
I think if he doesn't go to the Olympics, I think that he's clear-cut Hobie Baker winner.
Really?
He was more than a point per game as a defenseman. Even with Devin Levi, the goalie from Northeastern, which is also our Sabres property from the Sam Reinhart deal, he's having like an historic season. I think Owen probably would have won it.
Owen didn't get stuck in China? Oh, thank God.
No, thank God. Yeah, no, he did not.
How did he do? Was he okay in China when he played?
The only bad game I think you could say he maybe played, and it was maybe 1 or 2 moments, was the first game against the USA. But yeah, he was solid, man. He logged.
You never know what those guys, dude. It was such a weird event. They were probably like, get me the fuck out of here. Anyway.
He led the team in minutes as a friggin' 19-year-old defenseman every single night.
Man, Buffalo's gonna turn on. You guys deserve it. You fans support. I hate it. Can we get into Jack Eichel real quick? I mean,
Actually, that's exactly. I want to bring in too. We have Ryan Jury from the Instigators podcast. He's going to hop in here too. Ryan, thanks for popping in, because I want to get some extra points of you and almost do like a round table here on the Jack Eichel comments. Eichel made some comments. Definitely, I'll play them here in a second. But you being a guy who in my opinion, I kind of thought of you as when trying to figure out a guest to bring on to really speak on this, how outspoken you are. how would you take the whole situation started from the beginning when Jack asked for a trade 2 years ago after he found out the Sabres were going to rebuild again? He asked for a trade because he didn't want to be a part of another rebuild going into his 6th year. And then the whole neck thing, not thing, but the neck, back and forth neck thing between him and the organization. And now going from the beginning to the point where he made the comments, Cam.
Well, I mean, first off, I like Jack because when Spittin' Chicklets asked him who his favorite guest was, he mentioned my name. And so that in itself, if he thinks I'm funny, then I like it no matter what, because that's how I am, which is kind of embarrassing, but that's all good. But the way he played that, man, look, anytime anybody bashes fans, I don't like it. You want to bash the organization, fucking do it. Go ahead. You know the inside more than anybody does. You went out there, the captain of that team. I get that. But once you bash fans, like these people that you weren't that good and they still supported you, like I'd never do that, man. Like even if they boo you, who gives a shit? Like wave to them and smile. Listen, I'll give you an example. Like being on Twitter and stuff like that, knowing you guys know what I'm talking about, like always putting content out, like always people are going to be on you. And you kind of, sometimes it bugs you, sometimes it doesn't. But most of the time, when they say something, they chirp you. If you say back, like, yeah, I get that, they'll be like, it's all good, Cam. I love you, man. Listen to podcasts. You're like, damn, okay. But if you didn't acknowledge that guy, you think he'd hate you. Meaning when Jack's there and they boo you, if you just sort of like, I love you guys. I get it. Bring it on. I'm going to do my thing. They'd be like, fucking right. You did your thing here. But you make it you made $80 million from them.
Yeah.
And now you're like, look at this. What? If I don't know, like you could just be like, you know what? It's not the fans. You guys support us. I tried my hardest. This organization, I got a problem with it. I wanted one thing. Whatever you want to say to the organization, fine. But the fans, you can never go against them, man. Like even if they're bashing you, if your rebuttal is something positive, a little bit self-deprecating for once, and say, I love you guys no matter what, then they would instantly be like, yeah, okay, I like you. But then now you double dose on it. I don't know, man. Little gutless. Chirp the organization all you goddamn want. They deserve it. No offense. But if you chirp the fans, I don't know. You're digging yourself a hole. I don't do that shit.
I couldn't agree with you more. I'll pump it over to Quickie.
Yeah, no, again, I think at the end of the day, the organization, you could say, as he said, you could say what you want. Obviously there's problems here. I think the team's up for sale. Could be close. Just saying. Yeah. And again, I think at the end of the day, when you go into another city and someone's booing you, there's a reason. Obviously, they're not happy you left, so embrace it. They're doing it for a reason. They actually liked you here. Just embrace it. It's his comments after. I mean, I listen to Ribs and Gio and Peters, their podcast, and those guys. Obviously, Ribs is pretty outspoken. I know Gio in the locker room was, but at the end of the day, it has nothing to do with the fans. Embrace it. And that's all you can say, but I think his first talk he gave where, I have nothing against that. It seemed scripted off. Then the next one, not scripted, tough situation after a loss. Everyone's competitive. He's a very competitive guy, but it is what it is. He's gotta embrace the fans wherever he is, so.
And I'll kick it over to Ryan. You've been obviously quiet since we brought you in, but I appreciate you coming on. You being an outsider from the fan base up in Canada. I know that the Steve Dangle podcast was very outspoken about it. Adam Wilde took some heat down here for that, because maybe not everybody from the outside looking in knows exactly the situation. So, what were your thoughts on, the whole the situation as a whole, and then what eventually led to those comments he made?
Well, first of all, I mean, I just want to say that I knew Cam was going to be on the show, so I do have my Guelph Storm OHL championship mug on here for him. A great Storm alumni, so the fans still love you up here, Cam.
Appreciate that, man.
Speaking of the fans in Buffalo and obviously their complicated relationship with Jack Eichel now, it's sad, and I agree with what Cam and Quickie said there. You just can't do that. You can't go against the fans. If you want to come out and criticize past GMs, the direction that the team has taken, firing basically all their European scouts, the scouting job that they do or arguably don't do in Buffalo, which is a joke given the budget that the Pagula family has. Yeah. And I don't want to hear about them, crying poor or we got to save money here, we got to save money there. Really, at the end of the day, that's what this breaks down to in the sad saga that is Jack Eichel as a Buffalo Sabre is penny pinching, putting the wrong people in the wrong positions at the wrong time and not drafting well around him. I mean, they swung for the fences on a number of free agents, including Jeff Skinner, who has rebounded nicely this year. Like he's played pretty okay. And that's good to see because, that poor kid, he's one bad concussion away from maybe never playing hockey again, which is good to see. But then you look at the rotating goaltending there. If Jack Eichel wanted to come out and say something about that, even then you'd maybe go, okay, bad taste. But okay, you could get over that, especially given what we know now about this whole thing with his neck. I didn't agree with how the Sabres handled that, or at least how it looks like they handled that. Yeah. But I agree with Cam and Quick. Like when you come out and say that about the Vandal, it's the loudest I've heard this, and
it's a lie.
Like,
go fuck yourself. I'd be pissed.
I agree. Like if I'm a Sabres fan and really even just as a general hockey, like I like Jack Eichel. Like I like watching him play. I hope he's healthy. Like he is a fun hockey player, but I don't blame anybody, and you guys in particular, for having ill feelings toward him more than ever. Now, you just can't come out and say that and go against the fans. We saw it last year in Major League Baseball, like when Lindor gave the thumbs down to Mets fans. Like, guys, you can't do that, especially when you're a guy like Eichel or Lindor in that case, making bank. Like you're taking home bags, and guess who's filling those bags? It's the fans. It's the people that show up at the arena or the ballpark and buy $17 beers and pay $12 for a shitty slice of pizza. Like those people are your bread and butter, and you cannot come out and say something like that. I really, really disagreed with what Jack said.
Before we cut it over to Gatesy and get everybody's reaction, the reaction he's talking about, the loudest he's heard, here it is right here.
Out there. Petrangelo's out there. Win for Egan. Kept in by Eichel on the point, but taken by Tuck. Tuck to seal it. Bad angle. Goal! Pick your spot. Hit your spot. Krebs has scored. Tuck has scored. Sabres up 3-1. For a team that's looking to find good news to deliver to their fans, to deliver to themselves in the locker room, this win is one of them. Eichel can't keep the puck in to get it past Alex Tuck. He races after it, knowing the game is on his stick, and you don't see many people celebrate an empty netter like that. That means a lot to Alex Tuck.
Wow. Yeah, I'm pretty happy it's over. Let's move on.
Were you surprised at the level and intensity of the crowd?
That's about the loudest I've heard this place ever. Really, after it only took 7 years of me leaving for them to get into the game. But I'm sure there was mixed. It was a nice tribute, and there was plenty of people here that were supporting me, and there was plenty of people here that were booing me. So they must just be booing because they wish I was still here. I don't know. It is what it is. I mean, I'm not the first kid to deal with it, so just move on. And it was a tough game.
Yeah, I think there he says I'm not the first kid to deal with it. I think he said that. Is that right?
Yeah, first one to deal with it, and I won't be the last. Carson. Obviously, I meant to play that earlier, but it kind of the transition of Cam going in about the crowd really it was made for a good transition. So, Carson, your thoughts real quick, and then I'll go to me.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, everyone first hears it's not what they want to hear, but this is generally probably going to be the best thing to happen to the Buffalo fan base. Like, the past 2 years, they've been so disgruntled with everything that's happened. And, I mean, public enemy number one have been Terry and Kim Pagula. And
those two are happy.
Yeah, they lucked out because Eichel is the one everyone's mad about. And even at the game, like, this fan base is split on how they thought about Eichel. But even, I mean, an hour after the game, everyone's against him. And they team kind of move on from there. Like, they realize this is probably for the best getting him out of here. And now we have two health players that can can build this team up and get fans excited again.
Now, before obviously, I want to touch on it one more time before we kick it over the Heritage Classic, because I know Quickie, I know you got to get out of here. My thoughts are this: he should be embarrassed for saying that, because that might have been the loudest reaction the team has gotten all year. But the last 7 years, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, exactly.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
This team had a 10-game winning streak with him on it. You know what I mean? Like, that barn has been off the hook quite a few times in his 7 years here. With that being said, and this isn't me being a defender of Jack Eichel. This is me also playing devil's advocate. It's an emotional night. You're emotional. It's an emotional loss. And you have a camera shoved in your face minutes after you step off the ice in a goal where you were directly involved with losing the puck. And it was the guy who was honestly the centerpiece of the trade that sent you to Vegas. Do I think that Jack Eichel really thinks that about the fans? Absolutely not. I think he knows better. I think the guy got over. I personally think that it was an emotional response, and he let his emotions get the best of him. And, he responded in that way, and it was wrong. He should be, again, ashamed of himself. I think if a half an hour had passed and he was asked that same question, maybe the reaction's a little different. But at the same time, as you touched earlier, Cam, you got paid $80 million by this organization. You were given, even through all the losing, you were given a ton of faith that you were worth $80 million over that contract to be this team's captain. And not to mention, you were the captain. So, again, he should be fucking embarrassed with what he said. Even if I chalk it up to letting, and we're all guilty of it. We've all let our emotions get the best of us. Anybody who says they haven't is an absolute liar. But with that being said, you should be absolutely fucking embarrassed with yourself for saying that to the fans that a lot of supported you during the whole neck debacle with the surgery between the disc replacement and the disc fusion. You, including this fan right here, you had my support. And again, I think the Pagulas are more than happy to pump that sound clip out as much as they can, because they were public enemy number one up until that night, because now Jack Eichel made himself public enemy one in the city of Buffalo. So I again, he's not my problem anymore. He's not on my team. I am so happy with Alex Tuck and Peyton Krebs and whoever we pick with that first and second round pick. But I'm going to leave him in my rear view. It's done and over with. I think everything that he said that kind of gave this team a lot of motivation, especially going in today, which is the Heritage Classic, the outdoor game against a very tough opponent, the Maple Leafs, who we just beat over a week ago, 5-1. So I'm all about just leaving it in the past. But I mean, he should know better. You're an adult. You're a veteran in this league already. Going in, I think it's just he's in a 7th year. You should know better about what you said, and that everything you said was a fucking lie.
It kind of was.
Yeah.
But it's emotional. He knew what he was doing. Like, no matter what, if he would have scored, if he would have not scored, he still probably would have said something like that. I think that's just kind of the way he is, and it is what. But just never blame the fans, man.
No, never blame the fans.
They're the one thing you should always be on their side, because I don't give a shit. They're the ones that pay for everything. They're the ones that control shit. If there's no fans, then it's like, well, what the fuck? If you play well and hard for fans, no matter what city you're in, they're gonna root for you. You do the right thing, they're gonna root for you.
I hate Jack Eichel for the comments. I really fucking do. If I'm gonna play devil's advocate, I mean, I guess I could say, letting your emotions get the best of you on an emotional night. But even that, man, you just, as you said earlier, take your knocks at the organization, the Pagulas, the situation. That's where you should direct your anger and your hatred, not at the fans that have supported you from day one. I don't agree with that at all, and I hate it. Quickie, let's response to that video in the comments. Just any last thoughts?
Yeah, no, just last thought. I mean, again, like you look at Jack Eichel, and my biggest thing is, he's still, we call him a vet, but he's been enabled, I would say, to be the way he is. I hope for his maturity to grow in Vegas. He's in a different room. I think he's insulated there. He's got more leadership there versus here. I think it'll help him. So hopefully he learns by this stuff and he matures off the ice in terms of this stuff, because it's going to make him a better hockey player long term. But again, you just, a guy like that, you just don't want to see that again, because then it's a red flag. You know, he says it again. It's a major red flag about his character. And that's, you know, that's a problem. So.
He will be asked about it again too. Next time that guy's in front of a microphone, they're going to bring up those comments. Ryan?
Yeah, I mean, and you just mentioned Quickie, like the different room he's in, and Cam, you could, you know, comment on this too with the leaders there. It's weird that he didn't maybe take a page, and he referenced it in the comments about, I'm not the first guy to go through this. There's two guys on his team that through very different circumstances went through something similar, and that's Mark Stone and that's Alex Pietrangelo. Two guys that were beloved in their former markets, Petro especially. Like Cam, I'm sure you remember Brad Shaw. He's my cousin. He coached Petro when he was a rookie.
He's my coach too, yeah.
He absolutely was, and he told me to say hi, by the way.
Great guy.
He's a gem, and he loved Petro and like all the right things. Like when he left that market, nothing but love. Mark Stone might be an even better example. Left a market that has struggled mightily for a long time, and the fans in Ottawa, they are treated horrifically by that ownership group. I mean, if there's a team in the NHL that can relate to Sabres fans right now, it's the Ottawa Senators, let me tell you. And Mark Stone gets traded, and nothing to say, just good things to say. He didn't have some weird medical thing going on with the controversy like Jack did, but same thing. Like he was their franchise guy after Carlson went, and nothing but good things to say, you know, melodramatic, nothing. And it's weird to me that, he was emotional when he came off the ice, sure, but you just can't say stuff like that. And like Quickie said, I'm sure that Pietrangelo and Stone and guys like that are going to rein him in a little bit and transform who he is as a person, because if they can't, nobody can.
Yeah, no, you're right. Petro played it cool. It was a weird situation too. And the Blues fans are a little bit upset, but then they get over it because you didn't do anything stupid like that. You know, it's not worth having fans hate you. Like, it's just not worth it. And they don't deserve it. Even if they are a hard on you, that's part of it. It's $80 million they're booing you. Fuck that. Just be like, I get you, I get the situation, and all of a sudden you say something nice, like then it's over. But for guys like on the radio like me every day, I like controversy. So
talk
about.
Yeah, Carson?
Yeah, and then one thing kind of minuscule maybe Cam can go into, but you're going to have a life after hockey, and you know, you can't be the enemy of Buffalo. Like if you look at someone like Kyle Orton, who played quarterback 1 year for Buffalo, for the Bills, he can come back anytime, and he's the king of the city.
That one picture of him with a cigar right after that one big win. Kyle Orton led this team before they eventually broke the playoff drought. I think he might have had like the only winning record.
Yeah, 9-7. Yeah.
Let me tell you, I'll give you an example. Like, look, you could be like, he's got a ton of money. Who cares? Yeah, but you're still gonna like go places with your family, and the fucking fans might be like, "Fuck you." And then it's like, I have $80 million, but like I'm getting treated like shit everywhere because I'm a dick. What's the point of that?
Yeah,
why don't you have money and get treated like gold? Now they'll get over it, but if you're always a dick to them and you say stupid things, like people are gonna fucking chirp you. And yeah, you got money, but still hits you, man. And now it's gonna hit your family. Now you're uncomfortable.
Yeah, and obviously transitioning from that big game, it was, you mentioned a big slate of NHL games today on Sunday. Obviously a beautiful Sunday over there in St. Louis. Not so much here.
It's calling my name right now. I'm telling you that. I'm just joking, man.
All right. But you got the Heritage Classic here, 4:00 but in Hamilton, Buffalo Sabres. And I was ecstatic when I heard about this, even though there's such a disparity, I guess you could say, in level of talent between Buffalo and Toronto, and especially payroll. But, you know, I am a guy who lived for the Buffalo-Toronto rivalry right up to QEW back in the day, back when they wore the old goat head jersey, back in my heyday, where I was in the parking ramp as a kid, rubbing lotion under door handles for any cars from the Toronto area, shrink wrapping cars, heckling Leafs fans in my barn. Like, dude, I did it all with me and my friends. And to see, I love the jerseys. I kind of wish they would have paid homage to this jersey, even though they're supposed to next year. But I like the off-white. I kind of like the Toronto jerseys. But that's a big game today, especially for the Buffalo coming off the heels of such an emotional win against Jack Eichel and the Golden Knights. Where do we all see? I'm sure we're all at some point going to watch this game. but, or watch highlights at least. But, where do we all see a game like this going with the situation Toronto is? They're starting Mrazek. They've been struggling on their blue line and in net over the last couple of weeks. Both their goalies have above 3 goals against right now. And just obviously they really can't find an identity with being consistent. And then the Buffalo Sabres, led by Donnie Meatballs, Don Granato, and former St. Louis Blue, Tage Thompson. I definitely want your thoughts on that, because that was a guy who, we were pulling our hair out because of, wasn't really fulfilling his potential, but this year has really taken the league by storm. We call him the pterodactyl here in Buffalo. But, just your thoughts on that, Cam, and maybe your predictions for this matchup tonight in Hamilton, Buffalo and Toronto.
Well, first off, like, what were you doing with lotion? And like, what did you fucking say, dude?
Huh?
What'd you do with lotion and what with what?
Oh, so I used to, in the parking ramp, before games, I would go find license plates from Ontario, and I would take like icy hot or lotion. I'd rub it under their door handles. So when they're pissed off after a Buffalo Sabres win, because we used to dominate them, they'd go lift their car handle up. You're like, yo, what the fuck is this?
He's fucking pissed at you if you did.
Yeah.
But anyway, okay. But yeah, so I think Buffalo's going to win this game, dude. Listen, when you play outdoors like that, like everything's kind of off the table a little bit. Like it's not normal. Your setup's not normal. Like the goalies might have sun in their eyes in one end or something. Like shit's weird, right? The ice is fucked up over there. So like Toronto's kind of like in disarray a little bit. They don't know what the hell's going on. Like you're trying to find a goalie this late in the season. Like it's kind of a problem, Like it's not like your backup's playing well. It's like you're trying to find a goalie. Like okay, like with what you have with your side, like that's they're in a tough spot. I think Buffalo's like you mentioned that like after that game with Jack Eichel, like I think that's turned around their organization. Like something like that will turn around your organization. It's always going to get turned around sometime, man. Like it just happens. And so I think Buffalo's going to come out and win this game. You never know. That's why you don't bet on games like this, dude. You just don't know how the ice is. There's so many different variables. But I think Buffalo's going to win, man. I love watching these outdoor games. Although I wouldn't go to them unless I'm sitting in a box. I don't like the freeze, I'm a princess.
I was at the very first Winter Classic here in Buffalo against Pittsburgh, and we slept out for those tickets to the Fieldhouse in the summer. And it was an absolute wild party out at the Fieldhouse all night. Like just literally nobody slept at all. Everybody drank. And by the time they put tickets on sale, I remember they announced they were only limiting people to 4 tickets per person. I had to buy 8 people tickets other than myself, and everybody was drunk and pissed off when they announced, because they were sending so many tickets to Toronto, so they can only limit us. Yeah. For whatever reason, I don't know why they were sending tickets to Toronto, because I know they're going to come down here for it, but it was quite a night. They lost the game against the Rangers too when they played at Citi Field. So I'm excited I'll let everybody else get their predictions in. Quickie, you first.
Yeah, I think again, I think both teams are in an emotional spot right now, the highs and lows of the year. So you're going to see, Buffalo come out on a high and Toronto's on a low, and see who can be even keel and figure it out. I think it's going to be one of those games to see the emotions of both levels. But again, I think Buffalo's just trending the right direction. If, I really think they're trending the right direction. Toronto's going the wrong way. Obviously goaltending reasons, and they have a ton of talent, but it seems like, as we talked about, you can have a ton of talent, but not have the right roles. And that it seems like they're in a little bit of that spot where they just, have not the right roles, and guys seem like they're, playing different roles, and they're not doing, fourth line is the fourth line. You may have too many skilled guys and not guys to compete. So it's going to be an interesting game, but I think Buffalo's feeling, they're doing what they're doing right now. They're building on young. They're having energy in the room because there's young guys in the room, and they're just going to build on that the rest of the year, I think. So should be a good game today for them.
Yep. And before we kick it over to Gatesy, and you got to go quick, Cam mentioned that was kind of like a defining moment for the Sabres, that game and that win. This is one of my favorite pictures of all time, and this is amazing right here. When he took that puck off, it was a tough play for Jack on the backhand after they rimmed it around. I mean, not many guys can make that play, but that is a very defining picture, and a picture I want to get absolutely framed if I can, because that is absolutely
you and many others.
Right. We'll kick it over to Ryan.
Yeah, it's a tough one to call, obviously, because like Cam mentioned, you just never know what the ice is going to be like. And I'm not just saying this in my prediction because I'm on a Buffalo show. I think the Sabres can win this game. I think they can win it 4-3 in overtime, maybe in regulation 5-3. And I'll tell you why. Obviously, I'll give you the cliche first. Leafs have the number 1 power play in the league. If Buffalo can stay out of the box and limit it to 2 penalties taken, they're probably in really good shape. And if they don't let Michael Bunting drag them into a war, they'll be okay. The other thing I'll say is, what do we know about this Leafs team over the last number of years? If there's one thing you can say about them, it's that they fail to rise to the big occasions. The first 2 years they made the playoffs, you can wash that out because they're a young team, sure, whatever. That second year against Boston, they're up in game 6 with a chance to eliminate them. They choke, and then they lose in game 7 in Boston. Then in the play-in round, when we had that weird bubble, they lose to the Columbus Blue Jackets and get shut out in the deciding game. Last year, maybe the worst of all, they're up 3-1 on an inferior Montreal Canadiens team. I know they made the final. Carey Price was dynamite. An inferior team talent-wise. And if the Leafs put effort in that series, they probably win it. They don't. They choke. So you can look up and down at the big moments that this core group in Toronto has faced over the years. They do not rise to it. And Buffalo is walking into this with nothing to lose.
Yeah.
They know where they stand.
Yep.
There's no pressure on these guys. They're having fun. They just beat Jack Eichel in the return game, feeling good. They got Tuck rocking and rolling. Tage Thompson, like you mentioned, he looks like a freak right now. He has been playing excellent. Darlene looks like he's got new legs. I just think that Buffalo's going to walk in there with a little chip on their shoulder and go, hey, we still exist and we still like to annoy Toronto. I think that they can win this game, guys.
I just want to say they just showed pictures of they like to do their own get-ups for when they enter the game for the outdoor games. The Buffalo Sabres came dressed as the Flint Tropics team.
Oh yeah,
from some semi-pro, one of my favorite Will Ferrell movies.
I love it.
Good, be creative.
Yeah. And the Leafs came in, dressed as construction workers. I'm not really sure where they're going with that, but
so that's
the Village people or something.
Maybe,
that
I
would
don't know,
be
man.
because they're in Hamilton and that's Steel Town here in Canada.
Oh, okay,
That would
okay,
be,
I get
that's
it,
what
I get
it
it.
is. Yeah.
Gatesy, did you already give your prediction?
I did not.
Okay.
But I mean, we've had a couple games this year for Sabres where it's, they have a big win, they come out the next game and fall completely flat. I know last game with Jack Eichel's a little step above that, but I think this is a huge test for this team and whether they can build off of some successes they've had previously. But I mean, again, like you said, Toronto, they kind of got to figure it out at this point in the season. They've, had a lot of negative media about them on who they are as a team, not only this year, but it seems like forever now. And I mean, as interesting as it is, this game's outdoors. One team's going to be pissed that they're going to lose this game because it means a lot to them. So my heart says a Buffalo win, but you never know with these outdoor games. But I think Buffalo's going in the right direction here.
Agreed. Cam, you said you already predicted. You predicted a win.
I said they're going to tie.
You're a tie.
10-10.
10-10. I love it. I love it. Imagine another. What was that 10-7 game? That was Toronto and Detroit. Give me something like that.
Yeah,
I mean, Craig Anderson got his 300th win. Couple clicks for him, but I'm good for him. But I want an absolute slaughter today. Goal after goal after goal. I want goaltending to be so insignificant tonight. I'm going to predict the Buffalo win too, though. I'm going to predict a shootout victory, 7-6. Let's go Sabres. I'm extremely excited. I haven't been, outside of that Vegas game, Golden Knights game. It's been a long time since I've actually been this pumped for a Sabres game. Again, I mentioned before coming in, I was kind of excited, but there's such a disparity in between levels of talent and payroll between both teams. But I mean, Buffalo just took it to them last week, and then they come out with a huge win against the Vegas Golden Knights. I'm gonna predict a big shootout victory on the national stage again because the first game was on ESPN Plus. But 7-6 Buffalo against the Leafs. Eat it, Matthews. I don't give a shit. And just final thoughts from everybody here before we let Cam go enjoy that beautiful day in St. Louis.
Well, I just say appreciate you guys having me on, man. And you know what? To all the Buffalo fans, honestly, I'm always for the fans. Like you guys know that you heard what I just said about with Eichel. Like it's going to turn around for you guys. Like it will. Like it always does. Like the ownership, you guys got a lot of little things that you got to fix, but it'll come back around, and you deserve it. And you know what? Like stick with it, because people realize that they still wouldn't want to play for a Buffalo Sabres team. You turn that damn thing around, and the fans come back like how crazy they are, man. It attracts a lot of people. It's a cool town. You got a lot of cool things going on over there. So it'll turn around, man. We've been through this shit too with St. Louis. Like, goddamn, like 50 years, people are going crazy. Now we've had superstars and stuff like that. With Brett Hall come through. We've had 25 years of playoffs, but we never won the cup, and finally it happened. It was the coolest thing in the world. And now hockey is just psychotic here in St. Louis, and such a cool feeling. It's taking over. It's taking over baseball, kind of.
Yep. Anyone else? Any final thoughts?
Thanks for hopping on. It was really nice to talk to you, and excited for this game tonight.
Yeah, I'm super pumped. I'm trying to real quick before we go. They got a team photo here of I'm trying to bring it up, of the Flint Tropics get up they got going. I'm see if I can bring it up here. Ooh, I can. Here we go. This is the quick picture image just posted to the media accounts. Hopefully it loads here. Just give me 1 second. It's a pretty outstanding team picture here. Here we go.
Wow.
That is absolutely awesome.
Dude.
Look at that.
That's
Is
cool.
that who
That's
now?
awesome.
You know, I'm trying to find Tage up right there, front and center. There's your Jackie Moon.
There he is.
I
There's
love
your
that.
Jackie Moon.
All drink of water.
Yeah. But, hey, thanks again. Thanks again, Cam,
elite.
for hopping
No
on
problem,
with us.
boy.
Again, we've gotten a lot of requests for you to come back on with us after the first time we had you on.
Oh yeah.
And thanks, Ryan. Thanks, Gatesy. And again, I know he's not here anymore, but thanks, Quickie, for hopping on with us and making this a lot of fun leading into the Heritage Classic and our Jack Eichel Roundtable, and getting a glimpse on what's going on in St. Louis heading into the trade deadline, which is 8 days away.
Yeah,
Remember,
baby.
it's brought to you by Outlet Liquor, the place to buy a case over on George Ribbon Boulevard. Any of your game day needs, you need an adult beverage, get over to Outlet Liquor. This has been episode 90 of Two Goalies, One Mic. For Cully, I am Dwayne. You guys enjoy your day, your Sunday, and we will talk to you later.